bit of a tumultuous week, a couple of weeks, and a little bit of delays, Rants is back. Yeah. So what happened is trying to juggle a PhD, a conference, a job, and governmental paperwork for the sale of a plot of land takes out a lot of time out of your day. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into Battlefront 1. And why Battlefront 1? Because today we are gonna talk about season passes and content that should have been in the box. Whether that's right or wrong, that's part of the thing. Okay, so we're gonna jump into multiplayer. Give me 5 seconds. I wanna try the Death Star one. Okay, so what do I mean? Well, for a very, very, very long time, when you got a game, that was it. What was in the game was in the game, and then you waited for a sequel, I guess, or something like that. And that's it. Most games back in the 90s, they still followed the coin arcade system, which is what made them infamously hard. Basically, all that hardness that people love now was a way of getting money from you back then. The idea was to make it stupidly hard, and we hope that nobody gets bored before they finish it and get their 60 bucks out of the deal. By the way, 60 bucks back then was a ton of money. Like, a lot of money. But whatever. Anyways, so yeah, we'll talk about difficulty as the nadir of gaming, but it's not. Anyways, so back then you had that. Then in the late 90s, early 2000s, we had the expansion pack season period. I don't know how can we put it. Okay, so I'm fine like this. Let's go. And that was what? Well, basically, it's the season pass from today. It's pretty much that. Some games came out and they had a few game modes. Games were not updated to get new game modes or characters or content after the game came out. Basically. What we did have was a bunch of... oh, hello, Emperor. We had was games that would be expanded upon with expansion packs. And expansion packs used to be about the same as a normal game. Like, you paid the same amount of money. And so you would pay $60 for a game, and then you paid maybe 40? So, some were 40. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. And what that meant is that you got a little bit more game. So you got like extra game modes, you got new characters, new weapons, new maps, all those things. Anything else was covered by the DLC, like the modding community. That was a thing back then. Like, mods were a thing back in the Quake days, all those things. Jesus. All those things happened because of how do I put this? Well, basically, people weren't so... There was no DMCA, or whatever it's called, so Digital Millennium Copyright Act. So, life was easier in a way, you know? All you had to do was... You got a little bit of good coding. There were some developers that would release, like, developer packs and things. And then you use that to make mods games. Some people were even cooler, and they would do, like, they would break the code and do things that not even the developers intended. So that's how things were back then. We had that, and pretty much it. That was pretty much it. But people wanted more, right? Like, we wanted to have, like, other types of games that could grow, and what made it possible was internet. Like, we've had internet since the 1994, but it was primitive. You could get patches, but it was like ridiculous. We were still back then. We were still installing multi-CD-ROM games. Like Diablo, I remember being so flabbergasted that it took like I don't know what was it, like easy 4 CDs, yeah, 4 CDs, and I was like so surprised at it. It was so many CDs, but then there were patches, but the patches would take forever to download, and yeah, things like that happened. Wow, that was fast. It's still fun. Um, so that's how things happen with expansion packs, and well, it was good for a while. But with internet, then we got the ability to patch games. Well, with reliable internet, high-speed internet, we got the ability to actually buy games online and them to be patched online even after release, which is a whole different thing, and it's a horrible thing too. But well, you know, it's what happens. So yeah, we've had to live with that. Uh, but anyways, that's not the point. The point is, afterwards, people started to expect games to get content added to them. Things like Team Fortress kept adding game modes and new weapons and new skins, which ties into the whole, you know, reward systems. And for a while, it was all good. But then someone decided, well, packs. So the season pass was born, and the season pass, what it did was just take what was 3 expansion packs and turn them into one bundle, or you could get them independently. The problem was that is a pretty good idea, let me tell you. And the problem also is the calling it a season pass, because as Evolve found out, nobody knows what the definition of a season is anymore. But well, you know, things happen. uh, so what am I getting at is season passes for a while were okay. You got some stuff. I mean, we had things like what are they called? Uh, the Jesus, my brain. The horse armor things, but those were like microtransactions already. Now I'm talking about season passes, like big lumps of content, and a lot of people think that content should be included like entirely, but the thing is, sometimes you budget for it and you can't do it, and things get weird. But what we try and do is make sure that everybody has a chance at good games and stuff, and you know. But I'm not saying there's no bad practices. There's a ton of them. Like Battlefield and Call of Duty are the most infamous of all the terrible season passes. Basically because they were insane. Like, I don't think I've seen something as crazy as season passes that cost that much. Oh my god. So development doesn't work like people think. Like, you do gold, meaning you can't change anything in the code, like about half a year to 4 months before release. Okay? So that's something. And then what do we do? We're sitting there. The staff is just sitting there. So the obvious answer was make more content, and then we'll release it and ask people to pay for it. And for a while it worked. But gamers, well, you know what I think about the gaming community. Basically, it's a horrible thing. So people have these expectations of the games, and they expect like, oh well, they did it while the game was being released. There's even some of the content still in the disc. This should have been in, you know, in the game from the get-go. But the thing is, well, you already did the code. You were already planning to do DLC, but you couldn't fit it into the budget. You needed extra money, so it doesn't fit into your $60. Because $60, no matter how much we think is a lot of money, and I won't pay more than $60 for a game, but doesn't mean it's alright. Like, how do I put this? Even $60 is too little for what games cost and are like what we must pay to produce it. Not saying it's great, not saying it's a good thing. I'm just saying it is. I hope that registers. So what happens is we run into a weird situation, right, where Well, the games are not worth what we think are worth. They're worth way more, but we pay less and less for them because inflation is a thing. So yeah, so our games are or should be more expensive. So one way of offsetting that is with DLC. We make DLC, we release DLC, and we hope that people buy it, and it extends the life of the game, so more people buy the DLC, and more people want to keep playing, and yeah. So that's how it works, or that's how it should work, right? But the point is, it doesn't always happen like that. And it's one of those, oh god. You can end up with very bad developers that do really crappy stuff in the name of profit, and it can be annoying, to put it mildly. But, well, we cope with it, we deal with it. Now, what happened is when DLC packs started costing as much as a whole game. And that's when people started getting upset. Like, things like Call of Duty and the season passes are insane. Those season passes are almost, it just doubles the price of the game. And that's, I think, what most people, that guy's had it for me. That's what most people don't like. Like, having to pay for 2 games when they wanted to pay for 1. Not only that, but they divide the player base. We'll talk about that in a bit. So, yeah, the game has been put into a weird situation. So, season passes, in concept, not bad. In reality, terrible. I think what we need is to have more... be more conscious of how we spend our money on season passes. For example, the Call of Duty one, the Battlefield ones are not worth it. And I'm gonna tell you why. You try and play those maps that come with those expansion packs and you can barely find people playing them. There's also this demand for content that's never used. Like, I don't know how many times I've heard gamers be like, oh, we want more games, we want more things on our console, like, we want this thing or this other thing, and when they do, when they want it, when they get it, they don't use it. Like, how many game modes were in Call of Duty? Like, 12? 13? I think there's more. And go into the it tells you how much of the percentage of the population is playing as such and such, and the basic playlist is 45% of it. That's what it is. 45% of everybody's playing basic deathmatch, team deathmatch in Call of Duty. There's nothing else. No one does anything else because, yeah, okay, not everybody has a map, so that automatically means there's fewer games. It also means there's fewer content, and it keeps happening over and over and over and over again, and, well, you know. It's a thing that we are... Oh god. So, that's been a thing that's been in my mind for a while. I just don't get how to keep this community happy. Because as we said, like, it's impossible. It's impossible to keep them happy. What do you do? I mean, they want content that they don't use, but that content costs money, so you have to do season passes. And those season passes have to cost more money because just developing an asset is, like, stupidly expensive. And then, well, what do you do about it? It's not tenable. And it pisses me off. So that's the thing I don't get, I don't understand. It confuses me, it annoys me, it everything. Okay, now I learned how to do things. Okay. So that's the problem with season passes as they are right now. Like, there's no way of keeping people happy and then doing things like the right way. Like, absolutely no way people are happy. Because we could cut game modes that nobody likes or uses. Like, I guarantee if Destiny 2 hadn't made what is it? The one with the crests. Kill confirm. Whatever. Supremacy. If they hadn't made it part of the core playlist, nobody would play it. Just like nobody played Big Battles with vehicles. you couldn't find a game to save your life. Even when there were like special events that required you to do it, there was nothing that could help you. Like literally all you could do was just hope. It was one of those things I don't understand. There was nothing you could do. There was no one playing those modes. So why waste money in them? Well, because if you don't, and you don't put like, it comes with 7,000 games included. If it doesn't come with 1,000 games included, nobody plays it. Like, oh, this game doesn't have game modes. We've seen that with what is it? Lawbreakers. Lawbreakers had to add team deathmatch, which I agree with because it was really fun. Because nobody liked the other game modes because some of them were overly complicated. Some were just riffs on the same thing. It's just like slightly I don't know. It wasn't great. So that was the one thing that Destiny did. Like, it forces you to play all the playlists, all the games, all the maps. You don't choose because that makes the money worth it. Otherwise, well, you're screwed. But that's the thing. That's why Destiny makes everything gated to the general experience. Like, you have to play Destiny in step with the expansion packs, with the season pass, just to guarantee that there's a population. Otherwise, people would only play the basic Destiny game, like the first raid. They would only play. They would only play the thing that was available in the core package. So that's why Destiny is the way it is. Call of Duty and Battlefront cannot do that, or Battlefield cannot do that. They can't afford to force people into certain like game modes, game lists, and stuff like that. And it's the reason nowadays you get you're seeing a change. Destiny is definitely changing. Destiny is becoming a far more no, I lost my train of thought. Never mind. So, well, what I was trying to say is the reason they're changing. You're seeing change. Like, the new Battlefront has no season pass. There's a rumor that the new Battlefield that's coming out in a year has no season pass. And so on. Like, there's a reason these things are. Nobody wants to, you know, have that be put in that situation where the content you're making is not helping anyone. Oh god. Why make games that have this much content if only a third of the population is going to play it? Or even less. So of course, the answer to that is an answer that most people don't like. We still need the money to make the expansion packs, to make new content, because the $60 is only going to cover the original game, right? That's just the nature of the beast. So, what are we going to do? Well, let me tell you. What happened, or is happening now, is loot boxes. So, loot boxes are a huge business. You don't have to buy them, but when they're done well, you don't mind paying for them. Like, think of, whatchamacallit? Think of, Jesus Christ, this guy's insane. Think of Overwatch. There's nothing in the Overwatch loot box experience that demands, that you play something specific. Or that you get a special weapon. Or that, like everything you get is cosmetic. Unlike Battlefield, where the melee weapons can change a little bit of how the game plays. However, in Battlefield, the melee weapons are not even near to as useful as they should be. So it's not a big deal. It's not the worst thing. Could be worse. That's my point, I guess. But, well, what are we gonna do, right? Well, what you can do is really not cave in to games that have insane, ridiculous loot boxes. Like Call of Duty. Call of Duty is the epitome, or the best example of a bad game. It's a game that gates weapons with the progression system. On top of that, Jesus, this guy. On top of that, it demands that you spend money in loot boxes to get gear. That's... I mean, do you realize how insane the system is in Infinite Warfare, or whatever it's called, the new one? It's like, there's no way, absolutely no way, that you can like survive in that game without spending money. Because you're gonna get absolutely wrecked by others. There's no other way around it. You will be absolutely destroyed. Even in this game, like, there's certain guns that are so good, and they're gated behind the progression system, which is really slow, really bad. But well, that's just my impressions, you know. Whatevs. But yeah, so if you have loot boxes and the progression system, and they're so tied together, you're doing something wrong. Destiny has loot boxes, but it's cosmetic. Too expensive, though. There's like a point limit where you'd say, you know what, I can't do this anymore. That's it. There's other moments where you can say, like, okay, well, you know what, I'm gonna spend, I don't know, $10 and get a few. I could have bought a Starbucks coffee because that's about how much they go for. And I think that's the clue. And I think loot boxes should be region locked, because, like, for example, Mexico, a coffee is not $10. So those $10 can be really expensive. So we might as well make sure that it's something affordable for us, because really, it's insane how much money it costs. So I think that's why Overwatch is so right. Like, I can drop a tenner and get a few skins. It's 11 loot boxes. That's cool. That's okay. But I think Destiny is like, that's the same amount of money for just one thing. So that's where it gets ridiculous. Oh my god, kill that guy. And I don't see this improving because, well, people don't like season passes, don't buy season passes, don't use season passes. They divide the community because they put maps that nobody can use, or that very few people can use. And then all that money was wasted. Like, maybe you can put weapons in, whatever, but still, if one of those weapons happens to be better than anything else, God help you. And God help you as a gamer and as a developer. It's just not tenable. This guy's just running circles around us. Yeah, it's not tenable. It's not doable at all. Like, how do you reconcile that type of gaming? You know, a system where either you pay or you don't have a chance, because even the grind depends on the paid things. So yeah, that's what I think is the problem with games right now, and how to handle. So, what can we do? Like I said, don't buy Call of Duty if it still has that system. Why did I think he was with me? Like, I don't know what the new one is gonna be like, but the season, they still have a season pass, and I sure as hell am not getting it. I refuse to pay for that thing, because it's ridiculously expensive. It's stupid. It's so stupid. It's almost the same amount as the game. It used to come with this, like, exclusive access to this one thing, but now it doesn't. So it just makes no sense. Like, getting the maps, okay. If you like zombies, okay. Like, some people make zombies their way of life, and more power to you, man. I think. Yeah, more power to you. But it's not ideal. Let's face it. Wow, we're getting spawn camp. This is so classy. Yeah, so So yeah, those kind of season passes are bad. I guess like single player season passes are alright because well it's story modes, you can choose to do them or not. That's more like the traditional season passes from like ages ago. But anything multiplayer, don't get games with season passes, or don't get the season passes because I guarantee to you, no one is gonna be playing them. Like people are playing this now. What I'm playing is part of the season pass for not for Destiny for oh my god, for Battlefield because they gave it away. They gave it away at like late into the game, and look at it. It has people. I played games with season passes that had no people in their things. And right now, well, we can play. So that's good. I really like the fact that I can actually, you know, play. Because back when the game came out, I wouldn't have bought this because it was so expensive. It was stupidly expensive. I didn't want to pay for it. So I did it. Right? And in the end, I wasn't missing much. I mean, it's fun. Don't get me wrong. But was this map, even though as well made and fun as it is, worth it without people playing it? I don't think so. Which I think is, oh my god. But look at this. This is like badly designed. You should not be spawn camped this easy. Okay, I'm dead because I already got spawn camped. And this guy's just running circle around us with poison grenade. Like, the map is not made to handle that guy. Definitely not made for handle this guy. Look at that! So, imagine how you would feel if you paid for a season pass and got this map and just got spawn camped over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until, you know, you lost. Without making any progress whatsoever and being 4th place in your team. He had 186 kills. That was insane. So the season passes are a contentious thing. I think single player they're fine as long as they have enough content. Multiplayer, don't get them. It's not worth it. Unless you know everybody got them. That's the one thing. If everybody got them, go ahead. Fine. If nobody got them, you are gonna hate it so much. So much. Okay, there's a little caveat for Call of Duty. The only way you should get season passes in Call of Duty is if you want to play zombies with friends. Not with random people, with friends. If you have 4 people and you want to play Call of Duty with them, and you want to play zombies, okay, sure, go ahead. Actually, it's really fun. Do it. If you want to play multiplayer, just stick with the basic playlist. Nobody plays anything else. I mean, let's face it, if Call of Duty players had their way, everything would be Nuketown. That's the only map that would be playable. I know it because I do the same, because it's one of the best maps ever. Look at this. Insanity. Oh, no. Okay. List of full modes. Here we go. So we have Supremacy. We have Walker Assault. We have Fighter Squadron. We have Drop Zone. We have Cargo. We have Blast. We have Heroes versus Villains. We have Hero Hunt. We have Droid Run and Turning Point. How many of these do you think people actually play? Really? Like, how many do you think there are? Oh, it's 12 player modes. Okay, never mind. Still, let's look at the private matches. So we have all these. Look at this. Max player is 40. But then you have like maps for every mode. Like some overlap, obviously, but this is Star Wars. This is how the game is shaped. Battlefield, nobody plays expansion packs. Nobody. Because there's no players to fill them with. Well, they are, but it's random. That's why they started doing the special thing where you get in a party with friends and you can all play it. but it's still not gonna move units because. And the maps are fun. Don't get me wrong, but you have whole armies modeled and everything that only work in certain maps. Maps that can only be accessible to a certain amount of people. Nobody plays it. Nobody plays it. So, it's so frustrating, you know? It's like so annoying that you can't get what you want. And I don't see a way out of it. The loot boxes are okay, as long as it's only cosmetics. If it's only cosmetics, I don't care how much you charge for cosmetics. I really don't. If I want them, I get them. If I don't, I won't. But people complain about them too. Good lord, how do they complain about cosmetics? It's not like you're getting like something that will make the game better. It's just something. Still can't get this. Oh, in one rank. Damn it. Okay. So it's all these things, like, just they're just there, and it's so infuriating. So it's frustrating. It's just frustrating. There's so many things like I would like to get, but I can't get because you know how the game works. And well, there's not much I can do about it. I'll just keep on pushing. I'll play the games I want, support the ones that do things that I like, and ignore the other ones. That's why I haven't gotten the last two. Well, no, this Call of Duty, the one that's out now, and the one that's coming up, I'm not getting them. They have very expensive season passes. I'm done with that. And I don't play them enough to justify it. I will get the season pass for Destiny because that's, like, required. Because I have a clan. And because the content they add, like, it's actually story mode. So that's good enough for me. And then there's like new weapons, new armors, higher level, maybe some new powers, a new raid, and then there's Crucible, which whatever. So, see, that's a better system for Season Pass than just make a lot of stuff and then gate it behind a paywall and just watch it just wither and die. Battlefield is doing it. EA is doing it. EA is leading the charge. Who the hell knew that? Expected that? Well, they're not leading the charge, but they out of the big ones, yeah, they are. I mean, Ubisoft is doing their season passes for Assassin's Creed. They're useless trash, most of them. Like, there's nothing. There's like, oh, you have to play it, except one, which explained why one girl turned evil, but whatever. But at least EA has this whole. Well, we're gonna give it a try with Call of Duty, with Battlefield and with Battlefront, and see what happens. Of course, people are complaining about the loot boxes. I haven't seen them, so I don't know what to say. I do think the having both systems is like super annoying, like in Battlefield 1. Ideally, we don't have things like that. Battlefield 2, well, not 2. What is it gonna be? 1.5? I don't know. Whatever it is. Better have something interesting. And Battlefront 2, well, we'll see. We'll see what because obviously they're worried. So they're gonna try and fix the loot system. Let's see what happens. And when I see it, I will probably be able to tell you whether you want to get it or not. Also, quick thing, loot boxes, real fast. Do not get Shadow Mortar or whatever it is, the new one. The new, like Assassin's Creed in the Lord of the Rings universe, you need loot boxes. Like, it's not, like, that's the definition of not how not to do it. You need them to win, literally. You cannot finish the game unless you grind for days and days and days and days, like, to the point of exhaustion. Or you pony up money for a single player game. Which probably is going to have a season pass with more missions and stuff that are going to be really bad because the prior ones were really bad. The DLC was not worth it. So, if you want to complain about loot boxes, well, think about season passes first because they're very linked together, and the reason one exists is because the other one exists. Anyway, so this was Rants. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.